Right up next, we have Gaurisha who's going to be joining us for the next talk. A huge round of applause for Gaurisha to be joining us on stage. Excited? Binary answers. Yes, no. I'm like observing it. Yes or no? Yeah, there we go. Now everyone together. Yes or no? Lovely, lovely. Gaurisha, this is over to you. Please take on stage.
Hi everyone, I hope all of you can hear me. So can we get a quick cheer for React India conference? Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! All right. So I see that we still have energy. I know the day is closing, but we need the energy for this session. So let's get started. This is the title of my talk, How I Agenticize My Productivity. Oh, yeah. All right. So let me start by who I am. I am Gaurisha R Srivastava, a software engineer at Microsoft. I am a part of the Core AI platform at Microsoft. I love to talk about tech. I love to talk about traveling, and I am a crafty person. So if you want to hit me up for any of these, feel free to reach out to me. All right. So I want to start this talk with this image. Now imagine it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and out of nowhere, you receive a call on your phone for a severity 2 incident. A quick show of hands, how many of you have experienced this before? I see quite a few people. Okay. So we have people with severity 1 experience as well. All right, this is the next scenario. Imagine you're finding the issue in the logs that are so long that the actual issue gets lost. How many of you resonate to this one? Okay, we have quite a few people. All right. How about this one? Well, this is about spending hours and hours on unit tests that are failing. I do see a lot of people here with the hands raised. All right, coming on to the last image, triaging customer feedback. Well, this is another scenario of similar issue, which is that we know that all of our products receive thousands and thousands of feedbacks every day, and every month actually, and just imagine the manual overhead to triage them to the right team. That's another scenario. Well, that's the life of every software engineer or every data engineer or application engineer. But what do we have common in all of these four scenarios? What we see here are actually not the real issues. These are the distractions around the real issue. And by the time we find the actual issue, like for example in your incident or actually writing the unit test, we have lost a lot of precious time that could have gone to fixing the issue. And most of the time, we also lose our energy and coffee. Well, that led me to thinking, what if I had a buddy, a companion that could do all sorts of difficult chores or tasks that are tedious? Well, I can focus on what really matters. That is building, creating, and innovating. So essentially, can all of these scenarios be agentified? And that brought up a bigger question. Can productivity be agentified? But before we take a jab at this particular issue, let's take a step back. I want to take a second and talk about the buzzword, productivity. Let's open up the floor for everyone and understand what does productivity mean to you. Can we have some mics here? Okay, so what does productivity look like to you? When you say that you had a productive day, what made you feel? So I see Varsha here. Varsha, what does productivity mean to you?
Thank you for putting me on stage. I think, as you mentioned, if I'm able to focus on the main, fixing of issues and like these daily things that keep coming up again and again to me, like surge of incidents, let's say, or the surge of feedback, let's say, right? Then I would say yes, somebody else handles it for me. That's productivity for me. Also, I'm an engineering manager, so I want to be lazy. So for me, that is productivity. If I can focus on my team, strategize, and not have to worry about the smaller issues.
Absolutely. Who else would like to go? Yeah.
And she missed an important point. For in real, her productivity is like if she can do the shopping for an entire year in one day, then she feels that she's super productive.
All right, all right. Do we have more folks? What does productivity look to you? Yeah.
For me, productivity is like if I'm working without knowing how much time has passed for the day, that's productivity.
Okay, okay, okay. Who else? Can we have somebody from the back? Let's make it more interactive, guys. All right.
I think it's something like producing meaningful output in a reasonable amount of time, or maybe taking lesser and lesser time.
So less with efforts and more in speed?
Yeah.
All right, all right. Let's take one more.
When I have no meetings to attend.
No meetings to attend. I think that would be resonated by all of us. Okay, okay. So that's the beauty of the term productivity. Everybody has their own perception about productivity, and it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on what role are you at, what is your goal, what is the pain point in your journey. All right. So now we know what productivity looks like for us. But in order to actually agenticizing your productivity, it's important for us to understand what's blocking it in the first place. Because obviously, we can't optimize things we don't understand. So bottlenecks in your productivity could be anything. Whatever be your scenario, it depends on your own personal experience. It could be maybe writing unit tests for a feature that is failing for hours. Or maybe it's about writing documentations that takes a lot of time. Or maybe the bug reports that we write. Okay, so now we know the bottlenecks in our productivity. But at this stage, what I'm seeing is that we do have a lot of productivity hacks today as well, without agents. But there is some issues with those productivity hacks. Let's take a look at what those issues could be. So I want to give a preview of the productivity tools that I usually use. So like a lot of you, I use GitHub Copilot on a daily basis to write the code, to debug my code, or maybe to write documentations. Whereas I also have a setup with Playwright and MCP server to write my end-to-end tests. But, and along with that, for collaborations and ideas and note-taking, I use Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft Loop components on a daily basis. But do you see that these are tools that are helping me a lot, but there is an issue with them. The issue is, at the end of the day, it is me who is driving these tools. I have to write the prompt for the GitHub Copilot. I have to take a check on the Microsoft Loop component. It's me who has to drive everything for that. And that's why I want to bring my productivity tools to the OG supreme next level, using agents. And that's where the real magic of agents comes into the scene. Well, we all know agents are not here to replace us, rather free up our mind. So what if I have an agent that could work on the groundwork, the time-consuming part of my day, so that I can work on what matters, that is strategy and creativity. Well, to agenticize your productivity, it's important to know the productivity scenario. What does success scenario look for you? So let's open up the stage one more time for the audience and see what's the productivity scenario for you. Can we have the mics? Let's go back this time. Let's engage with that audience. Anybody from the back? What does productivity scenario or the success scenario for your productivity look like? No one? Okay, we have a hand there.
Side of my, if everything on the left side of my Jira board goes to the right, I'm happy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So your productivity scenario could be anything. It could be the last minute design changes. Or it could be the converting your ADO work items into full-fledged PRs. It could be anything. Your productivity scenario, as I said, belongs to you. It's your own perception, your own understanding. Well, don't take just my word for that. Last year at Microsoft AI Tour in Bangalore, Satya said this: humans and swarms of AI agents will be the next frontier, and that's where a lot of productivity will come from agents. And that's not science fiction anymore. Well, that's the direction Microsoft is headed to. From Copilot to Azure AI agents, in the age of AI, productivity does not mean automating the tasks. It means to augment human potentials with super intelligent machines that can collaborate with us. But now we know what are the bottlenecks in our productivity and what does the productivity scenario look for us. And we want to agenticize them. But how do we make agents, and more importantly, how do we make trustable agents? Like any strong foundation, a trustable agent also has building blocks to it. One of the important building blocks is consistent behavior. Now, I want you guys to imagine this scenario. You create an agent that helps you summarize your team's meetings, but the responses are flaky. Today, the responses are as crisp and bullet pointed as you want, but tomorrow the agent goes all poetic. Or maybe on the third day, it goes on to say that everybody in the meeting was aligned for the agenda, when in reality, it was not. And that's the rogue behavior. So what we want for our agent to be trustable is to have consistent behavior. The next building block that we have is grounded rationale. So here we want our agent to have responses that has some context to it. It is based on some relevant context. And lastly, we want our agent to have explanation first response. That is, so that if somebody else apart from you who created the agent uses the agent, is able to understand what the agent is referring to. Now let's come to actually building the agent. We have any agent that exists today has 5 core components: perception, reasoning, memory, actions, and feedbacks. Let's talk about them one by one. The first component is perception. This is the input understanding layer of your agent. It is essentially the rule book of your agent of what to do and what not to do. And we provide perception to our agent with the help of system prompts. You want your system prompt to be clear, have some reference material for anchoring its knowledge, and have some few short examples in order to provide the format of the response that you want. But this talk is all about productivity. So in the times when we have tools like GitHub Copilot, why do we even want to write the system prompt manually? So here I have asked GitHub Copilot to create a system prompt that helps me triage customer feedback. And you can see that the GitHub Copilot has given me a detailed system prompt. It has sections like instructions and output format and etc. Well, next, now we have the system prompt. But how do we exactly build the agent with the system prompt? That's when you head to the product called Azure AI Foundry, where we have a feature called Agent Builder. So in Agent Builder, all you have to do is just copy paste your system prompt with the help of that you created with the help of GitHub Copilot, and come to the Agent Builder and paste it in the section called Instruction. That's how easy it is. And feel free to scan the QR code if you want to read more about it. The next layer in your agent is memory. This is the context awareness layer of your agent. What this means is we want to So we provide memory to our agent with the help of knowledge bases. Now for your productivity scenario, knowledge bases could be anything. So let's say if you are making an agent for your productivity that helps you write documentation, then past or previously written documentation can become your knowledge base. But how do we create the knowledge base? That's where Azure AI Search comes into the scene. It helps you create search indexes. Search indexes can be created with various techniques using Azure AI Search, be it keyword search, vector search, agentic search, and whatnot. And if you want to learn more, again, there is a QR code. Feel free to read more. But you want your knowledge base to be up to date. You don't want your knowledge base to have data that's not relevant anymore. And that's where Azure Function comes into the scene. Azure Function helps you rejuvenate your knowledge base on a daily basis, or whatever frequency you want. Now, once we have the knowledge base, what do we do next? We again head back to the Agent Builder UI, and we go back to, it's not running. Yeah, we go back to the knowledge section of our Agent Builder UI. There are several options for adding your knowledge base, but for the demo, let's go with Azure AI Search, and that's how easy it is to connect your agent with your knowledge base. The next core component for your model, for your agent, is reasoning. We've given instructions to provide perception to our agent. We've given memory to our agent via the knowledge base. What we have not given so far is the ability to reason. And that's where large language model comes into the scene. With partnership with different various platforms like X, Meta, Mistral, Azure AI Foundry Portal provides more than 10,000 models for you to find the best model that fits your productivity scenario. So once you have selected your perfect model, all you need to do is just deploy the model and head to the Agent Builder UI and use them as the deployments. Let's take a quick recap what we've learned so far. So the user input about your productivity scenario and the system prompt becomes the input of our agent. Then we have the Azure AI Search Index as the knowledge base of our agent. And the LLMs becomes the reasoning part of your agent. And with the help of this, we are in a position to get responses that could help our productivity. But let's take a step back and understand, is this all we need to do? Or are we missing something? Well, this is where so far, what we've created is a chatbot assistant that could help us in queries. What we have not given to our agent is the ability to act on our behavior. And when you provide anonymous yet rational actions to your agent, that's when your agent becomes from a chatbot assistant to a true teammate. You want your actions to be autonomous, yet have some rationality. Okay, so how do we provide actions to our agent? So we head back to the Azure AI Foundry UI for Agent Builder, and we see a lot of actions that you want to add. Depends on your productivity scenario, you can add as many actions as you want. But if in case you feel that those scenarios are not fulfilling your scenario, you can also connect it to third-party applications. Like for example, for my productivity scenario, I wanted to triage the on-call incidents that we receive on a daily basis. And for that, all I did was created an agent on Azure AI platform and then connected or integrated it with Power Automate Flow. That's how I could also get the actions to actually transfer the incidents to the right owning team and add comments for reference to it. Well, this talk is not complete without talking about the impact that we've created so far. In Microsoft, in my team, we've created 3 agents so far. Let's talk about the impact. We created an agent to simplify customer feedback triaging. And for Azure AI Foundry Portal, we receive more than 2,000 feedbacks on monthly basis. And before the agent, it used to take around 4 to 5 days to manually triage these feedback capsules. And with the agent, we reduced the number from 4 to 5 days to 3 to 5 hours. 3 to 4 hours. We created another agent to help us write the unit tests. Now, before the agent, it used to take around 5 hours to 1 day to actually write just end-to-end tests for our features. But with the agent, we reduced it to almost 2 to 3 hours. We created another agent to convert Figma to code. Now, this is a big one for us. We had an outdated repo that was very important for us. But that's when, and the estimated delivery time for revamping this outdated repo was more than 2 weeks if we had to do it manually. But with the help of our agent, we were able to do it in less than 1 week. And that's how the big impact agents can have on your productivity. With this, I come to the last section of my presentation, or the talk, which is uncomfortable but real learnings. After building the 3 agents in my own team, I was able to gather these 3 learnings. Let's talk about them. The first one is prompt fragility. Well, prompts are sort of like your interns. So they'll follow the instructions that you give to them, but not the intent that you had for them. And the prompt fragility usually happens because the LLMs are dependent on the patterns. So even in the smallest difference in the input query or the knowledge base, we can have very large difference in the response. The solution, how did I try to fix this? One of the solutions that I tried was to provide few short examples in my prompt. With that, I was able to define what's the right thing and what's the wrong thing. The next learning that I had was hallucination. Why do we still have hallucinations? Well, the best agents out there also, with the best models also have hallucination. And hallucinations usually happen when the model tries to generalize the responses, and especially when there is no close match in the knowledge base. And these are the scenarios when the model tries to fill in the gaps in order to provide responses. And that's what we call hallucination. So in order to reduce hallucination, my attempt was to provide a confidence score, a threshold for the confidence score, so that I can identify if this is the right response or this is a hallucination. And another thing that I tried was to fine-tune my model. Out there are several techniques to fine-tune your deployment model that you are using. You can use supervised fine-tuning, reinforcement fine-tuning, and whatnot. And once you're able to fine-tune a model to your own requirement, hallucinations can go down by a huge amount. And lastly, this is a deliberate slide that I added to the end of the slide. Humans are still needed in the loop. Well, in the last 2 days, in most of the AI-related talks, we did talk about AI and agents are not here to replace us. So we are always needed, hopefully. So humans are usually needed when the agent so far has the ability to reason, but it does not have the full context. Let's say it does not have the context to the organization's structure. It does not have the context of the practices that you have for your unit test or documentation. And that's when humans are needed. What can you do to empower this? You can have human in the loop checkpoints. We can talk more about it offline, but I see the timer going on. So I'll move on to the last thing, that is me again. So with this, I come to the end of this talk. If you ever want to talk about agents or React or any text of related stuff, feel free to connect to me on all of these platforms, and feel free to scan the QR code to reach out. And obviously, if you have any questions, do reach out to me. We can definitely connect over this. Thank you.